And was produced, compiled and presented by Dave West. The alcoholic beverages were supplied by John Duncan. I don't know, Dave, swearing on the radio, you'll get us closed down. Good afternoon, this is Radioactivity, broadcasting live on VHF frequencies of 90.3 and 103.9 FM. The time is now 5 o'clock.
It's Steve Allen. It's Steve Allen.
Yes, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, little ones and kittens. This is Steve Allen on Radioactivity. My pleasure to be with you through until 6 o'clock this afternoon.
This is the Barry Young Show on Radioactivity.
All the hits and more. All the hits and more. All the hits and more. Much, much more.
It's Barry Young.
Yes, it is Barry Young.
Our 60 minutes of rock music here on behalf of everybody at Radioactivity. The presenters, that's Dave West, John Duncan, Barry Young and yours truly, Steve Allen. Also, the office staff and the...
You're listening to Radioactivity, broadcasting on the megahertz that matter, 90.3 of them VHF FM. If you'd like to write to us, number 58, Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey is the address that gets you to us. Radioactivity, number 58, Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. Coming up at the top of the air, it's Steve Allen.
It's that man again, Steve Allen. Listen to him every Sunday at 5 o'clock on Radioactivity.
Oh, 3.
You've been listening to Radioactivity, broadcasting your way this afternoon since 12:30, right the way through now till 7 o'clock. Radioactivity on 90.30 MHz VHF FM. Our thanks there to Steve Allen and Dave West for this afternoon's programmes between 5 and 7 o'clock. If you'd like to write to Radioactivity, the mailing address is as follows. It's number 58, Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. That's Radioactivity, number 58, Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. Radioactivity is now closing down. We shall be on the air on 103.90 MHz next Sunday between the hours of 4 and 7 o'clock. So I hope that you'll stay with us.
3.
You're tuned to 103.5 MHz VHF FM, the frequency that fits snugly into your ear. The time is 5 o'clock.
Radio 1, National Radio, music through the day. Radio 2,
95.8.
Radio Merseyside. Guernsey, Radio Guernsey.
90.3, it's Radio Activity.
It's the Steve Allen Show on Radio Activity. For the golden oldies with the golden oldie.
Job vacancies.
If you're 16 or 17 years of age,
Vacancies.
A free service from Radioactivity. If you have a job vacancy, write to Radioactivity, 58 Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey.
The station that fits snugly into your ears. We may be small, but we're reliable. We're on your FM dial somewhere or other every Sunday afternoon. And I must say thanks to John Duncan this afternoon for looking after things on 90.3 last Sunday, whilst 103.9 was away on vacation and being converted to 103.5. Right, with the strains of the new Radioactivity theme in the background, do you like it? Give you a rundown of some of the things which are coming your way over the next 2-3 weeks between 6 and 7 on Radioactivity. Next week between 6 and 7 we have the return of the Gordon Bennett and Reg Hedges programme, so don't miss that. That's next Sunday on your radio, the 9th of February, between 6 and 7. Hopefully the week after that we have the return of the Barry Young Rock Show. That'll come as a surprise to Barry Young. I didn't spend a week away being or learning how to be assertive, you know, for nothing. And the week after that we have a new DJ here on Radioactivity. We have the Timbo Show on RA. But for this week, I'm afraid you've got to put up with me right the way through until Closedown at 7. And I just thought of a little impromptu competition. I wonder if anybody knew, or knows rather, what radio station originally used this theme music. Radioactivity this afternoon, in the air and everywhere, live radio, the station that fits snugly into your ear. 103.5 megahertz VHF FM. Right after this next song, we're going to have Kiddy's Corner with Uncle Steve Allen, so make sure the under fives are staying tuned.
You're listening to the Steve Allen Show on Radioactivity. He plays all the beep-up, blue, and I like it like that.
Safe and sound after their weekend of trials and tribulations. That sort of thing can't happen to us here. I suppose the worst thing that could happen is the shed could catch fire. OK, for the last 3 hours you've been listening to the programmes live of Radioactivity on 103.5. We hope you've enjoyed our programmes and you'll join us again next Sunday at 4 o'clock. Between 4 and 5 it's non-stop music. Between 5 and 6 it's yours truly, Steve Allen. And between 6 and 7 we have the return of the Gordon Bennett and Reg Hedges programme. Sunday week between 6 and 7 it's the Barry Young Rock Show, and the week after that it's the Timbo Show. So from all of us here at Radioactivity, this is yours truly, Steve Allen, wishing you a very pleasant Sunday evening, an enjoyable week ahead. And I look very, very much forward to hearing from you and enjoying your company in the very, very near future. Take care, God bless, and goodbye. Radioactivity will now be closing down. Good night. Time actually at 2.5 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. We thank Gordon Bennett and Reg Hedges for the last 60 minutes of music here on Radioactivity. Live on 90.3 and 103.5. This is the continuing sound of free radio. This is Radioactivity. Normally we close down at this time, but tonight we invite you to stay with us, because between now and 9 o'clock we have 2 hours of uninterrupted music, the best music which has ever been recorded. So do stay tuned. This is Radioactivity, 90.3 and 103.5.
Once I used to to turn away and never hear a word you'd say. Suddenly, can I cry a little?
You're listening to Radioactivity on 103.5. The time is now 5 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. 90.3 has now gone its own way, and 103.5 will be closing down. On behalf of today's presenters, that's John Duncan, Gordon Bennett and Reg Hedges, this is yours truly, Steve Allen, wishing you a very pleasant Sunday evening and a peaceful week ahead. If you'd like to write to us, our mailing address is Radioactivity, 58 Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. 58 Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. Until we meet again at some time in the future, take care, God bless, and goodbye.
Aqualung from the 1970 LP of the same name.
Scene.
We feel it in the one drop. We feel it in the one drop. Yes, we feel it in the one drop. For we still find time to rap. We're making the one stop. Reggae on Radio 1. So feel this drum beat as it beats within.
The best music on the Barry Young Rock Show on Radioactivity.
Well, it looks like I'm going to overrun by a couple of minutes. Sorry, John. Be patient. You'll like this track. It's the final one tonight. It's got one of my favourite guitar solos on it. So I'll say goodnight, see you soon, and leave you with Over and Over from Black Sabbath. Goodbye. What is the matter with this man? Come on, go for it. It will go in. Don't even work on it. Of course it'll go in. Put a bit of grease on it. Eh?
Talk to the people.
I am talking to the people. John, can you hear me, Mother?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's nice.
Sorry about overrunning, mate.
Right, here's a nice piece of music, one that's never been played before, because I think probably Radioactivity's only got a copy of this one. Comes from Marcia Griffiths. It was out in 1969 on the Escort record label. A little bit of reggae done to the old Lennon and McCartney song, Don't Bring Me Down. Oh, yes, indeed. Lovely track from Marcia Griffiths, and Don't Let Me Down.
John Duncan.
You're listening to Dave West here on Activity on a Sunday afternoon with Ever Fallen in Love. OK, this is coming up to the end of my little stint here now, so I'm going to leave you with a track by New Order from the LP Low Life, and it's called Thieves Like Us.
It's John Duncan.
Yes, certainly is. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Country Show.
It's 1 minute before the hour of 8 o'clock. Activity 103.5 will now be closing down. And on 90.9, Kaleidoscope non-stop music FM will be continuing through until the early hours. We thank Radio Kaleidoscope for the use of the 90.9 relay this afternoon. I'd like to remind you that from now on, Activity will be on 103.5 only. From me, Steve Allen.
And to our friend Dave and Stephen Bullock in Southend and Canby respectively. Thank you very much indeed for the reception reports there, Dave and Steve. Nice to know that you're listening out there.
Radioactivity broadcast from two separate locations on VHF frequencies of 90.85 and 103.45 megahertz VHF FM. Each transmission is broadcast using an omnidirectional vertically polarized antenna system.
For you and me.
Well, I hope that if you've been listening since 3 o'clock this afternoon, at least some of the music that we've been playing here on 90.9 FM has been some of your sort of music. Between 3 and 4, we had some easy listening stuff, didn't we, for an hour to get you over your Sunday lunch. Between 4 and 5, yours truly with the 60s Revisited programme. Enjoyed doing that. Between 5 and 6, Dave West with the alternative music. Sharon Tate then followed with the Soul Show between 6 and 7. Yours truly back between 7 and 8 with the general music programme, and then our last 3/4 of an hour there with the sound of Steve Allen on Radio ABC, a pirate radio station that operated just in the inner outer London area, parts of Essex, of course, in 1967, come 68, on the air for 14 months.
Don't forget, the Radio Jackie Christmas party will be held on Friday the 21st of December at the Wimbledon Civic Hall behind the Town Hall. Radio Jackie DJs Jeff Rogers and Jerry James will be there, together with 3 guest bands live on stage and lots of goodies to give away. The doors will be open from 7:30 till late, and there will be a licensed bar. Tickets cost £2 in advance from Radio Jackie at 32 Central Road in Worcester Park, or £2.50 on the night. And the evening's entertainment is being organised by the South London Guardian in conjunction with Radio Jackie, and all proceeds will go towards the Guardian Community Trust for the Blind. Radio Jackie.
In the news with Roger Allen, Union Carbide heavily criticised by a congressional subcommittee. Details in 9 minutes. In 1332 kilohertz medium wave, this is Radio Jackie.
The 4 o'clock news with Roger Allen. Good afternoon. Radio Jackie News.
Southwest London weather.
What a silly Billy that man must have been to get booked.
Jeff Rogers. Radio Jackie. 24 hours a day. We're Southwest London's favorite station. Radio Jackie.
Radio Jackie, one of the most famous and best loved of all land-based semi-legal radio stations, first began broadcasting in 1969 for just 30 minutes on a Sunday afternoon, and by 1983 was broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to southwest London from offices and studios in Morden. The station was very much left alone by the authorities, was supported by the local police and magistrates and MPs, but was finally closed in January 1985 following 3 raids from the Department of Trade and Industry, following a court injunction issued against Radio Jackie by the Independent Broadcasting Authority on behalf of the IBA station Radio Mercury. Radio Jackie, as we understand it, have applied for a community radio licence, and we very much hope that they will be one of the first to be granted a licence, and we hope that it won't be too long before we hear the programmes of Radio Jackie back on the radio. This is Radioactivity 103.5. We now go back to the year of 1967, and we have 30 minutes of broadcasting from a station that went by the name of ABC London, and later became Radio 197, broadcast for some 18 months between 1967 and 1968, with a rather young-sounding DJ who went by the name of Steve Allen. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
ABC Music Power to play.
ABC Gold with the seasons for Opus 17.
There ain't no room for me. You're only holding out your heart and sympathy. ABC Most Music Power.
You're listening to a test transmission from ABC, 1521 kilohertz in the medium wave band, that's 197 meters. We've got Bobby Bloom, 25 this week. Album track from Buffalo Springfield. ABC was Steve Allen and a test transmission, 1521 kilohertz in the medium wave band. Who's going to make it with you? That's Brad. Steve Allen, ABC, 1521 kilohertz. Oh, rainy day? We'll have none of that rain. If you're watering your garden, take notice. You're listening to ABC on 1521 kilohertz in the medium wave band with Steve Allen. If you'd like to write to the station, our address is ABC 28 Kingerby Gardens, Rainham in Essex. ABC 28 Kingerby Gardens, Rainham, Essex. Thank you. Play power, ABC.
ABC Radio 197 Hornchurch in East London. A recording of the programme, the test broadcast on 1521 kilohertz that went out in 1967. Good afternoon, you're in line with Radioactivity, broadcasting live on 103.5. The time is now exactly 5 o'clock.
It's the Steve Allen Show.
We've got the return of Kiddy's Corner, especially for you, around about 5:30 this afternoon. Pinky and Perky, I don't believe it. 25 and a half minutes before the hour of 6 o'clock here on Radioactivity 103.5. A little bit late with Kiddy's Corner, apologies to Dave Bullock, but John Duncan's been very, very busy in the next door studio. You see, we haven't got Swinging on a Star by Pinky and Perky as you asked us to play, so we've been making our own version of it. Thanks very much indeed for your latest card, Dave. Didn't actually expect you to write in just because you got a mention on the radio, but thanks very much indeed. Also to your wife Karen and your 2 children, and also to your brother, I think his name's Chris, is it, or Steve? I've forgotten now, I'll look it up again in a minute, down there on Canvey Island. As said earlier, wonder if your brother's into the transport business, because we think he may be related to one of our engineers. Anyway, you said, will we play Pinky and Perky, Swinging on a Star, for all your friends and your mates, and they'll understand what it's all about. We'll say, unfortunately, we haven't got that particular record, so we've had to make our own version of it at Quantock, Chichester Road, down there in Southend. That wasn't, in fact, Pinky and Perky for Swinging on a Star. That was Big D. Irwin, rather speeded up, and his version of Big D. Irwin's, or rather his version of Swinging on a Star. Especially for you, Dave. Once again, thanks very much indeed. You're certainly our #1 listener. Not that we want to lose you here on 103.5, Dave, but if you were to tune over to 90.9, I think you'll be in for a little bit of a surprise signal strength-wise this afternoon. Don't forget, at 6 o'clock, it's Barry Young through till 7 with his rock show, and 7 until 8 we have the return of the one and only Mr. Timbo. He's got a lot to answer for from last night.
And you're listening to another edition of the Sharon Tate Soul Show.
Let me say before we go any further, thank you very much indeed to our engineers who have worked the midnight lamp and the oil and everything this week. Various things have been happening, and we do apologise for any transmission hum and buzz that you're hearing behind the transmissions. We will endeavour to clear this as soon as possible. Activity
909.
He's in, he's on.
John Duncan.
Yes, welcome along from the Hairy Monster, bringing you the best in music. A varied selection of music between now and 8 o'clock this evening.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. Keith, #1.
You're listening to an engineering test transmission broadcasting on 90.90 megahertz VHF FM. If you would like to write to us, the mailing address is as follows: APR 1391 London Road, Leigh-on-Sea in Essex. That's APR 1391 London Road, Leigh-on-Sea in Essex. At this point in time, if you would like to tune your dial to 103.5 megahertz VHF FM, the Steve Allen music programme between now and 4 o'clock. This is Activity 909, testing for more power and stereophonic sound. At the moment, you're listening to music on CD featuring Jean-Michel Jarre. Your dial's tuned to 90.90 megahertz VHF FM. This is an engineering test transmission from Activity. If you would like to write to Activity, we'd be very pleased to hear from you. APR 1391 London Road, Leigh-on-Sea in Essex. This is a transmission for future broadcasting on 90.9 in super stereo. At the moment, a high quality mono signal should be receiving by your radio set. Perhaps you'd like to write to us and let us know how you're listening to the sound of Activity 909 on this engineering test transmission. Jean-Michel Jarre, the electric sound, continues the music on CD. APR 1391 London Road, Leigh-on-Sea in Essex. You have a choice of listening as per usual every Sunday on 103.5 at this moment in time. Steve Allen through till 4 o'clock. On 103.5 this afternoon, right the way through until 8 o'clock this evening, the usual programmes go out for the final time, up for a couple of months or so anyway, so join Steve Allen at this moment in time over on 103.5. I understand that everybody's going to get together between 7 and 8 o'clock over there in the other studio, so have yourself a nice time this evening, lads and lasses. Don't get drunk now, will you? He's on the road there. That's Dave B, that is. Had the pleasure of seeing once again on Friday. You are motoring along there. Back to Canvey Island, Dave. Very good afternoon to you. Hope I'll see you next Friday evening. If you can pick us up, perhaps you'll give us a report.
Serving Hockley with South East Essex on 103.5. This is Radioactivity. It's 4 o'clock. It's Tina on Radioactivity.
Here's some Sweet Come Off compact disc, as you can quite imagine. It sounds different even in my headphones for the theme playing out. This has been Activity 90.9 on the test transmission. We're now closing down and we shall be back on the air from this frequency hopefully in about between 6 and 7 weeks' time, all being well. Some modifications now have to be done to transfer the studio all into stereophonic equipment, so we're now closing down. But as I say, from time to time, if you listen to 90.9, there will be stereophonic transmissions from 2 studios, in fact, sited in Essex, North Essex, and, well, a bit more South East Essex. But they will be giving you more details later on. You may hear my voice early part of this week coming from our other studio. Thanks very much indeed for listening, and thank you very much indeed for the support of Activity. And don't forget 103.5 is pushing out the music right the way through until 8 o'clock this evening. We're now closing down. I'll give you the mailing address again if you'd like to write to us while we're currently off the air. APR 1391 London Road, Leigh-on-Sea in Essex. That's APR 1391 London Road, Leigh-on-Sea in Essex. May I wish you a very pleasant afternoon, a good week ahead, and stay tuned to the sound of Free Radio. Goodbye now.
09.
We thought the same thing would happen that happened Christmas. We'd miss a few people out and they get upset. So to everybody who's been a faithful listener to Activity since last September, we can only say a very, very big thank you indeed. Your support is appreciated. I shall wear it always. Actually, one person we perhaps will mention by name, and that's Dave Bullock down there in Southend-on-Sea. What a supporter of Activity he's been over the last few months. Nice to see you got your name in Monitor magazine, Dave. Hopefully we'll see you on the 28th of September. Because yours truly is going to try and organise a Radioactivity staff outing out on the 28th of September.
Is your home as safe as you?
Monitor magazine present a free radio get-together on Sunday the 28th of September. Tickets for the free radio event of the year cost only £2.60 including refreshments and are now available from Monitor magazine, 31 Avondale Road in Benfleet. Don't miss out on this free radio event of the year. Send £2.60 by uncrossed postal order with a stamped self-addressed envelope to Monitor Magazine, 31 Avondale Road in Benfleet.
Much more music.
No, I like it like that. With a large selection of tiles and friendly expert help, the only place to go for help is the Tull shop. Steve Allen, love him I could eat him, lordy dee da dee.
From me, Steve Allen, until we meet again on the airwaves, take care. From me, it's lots of love and bye for now.
This last hour is for our Radioactivity party, and we're going ahead with a swing. There's Steve Allen and Barry Young.
Hello there.
And myself, and we're expecting Timbo any minute. So stay tuned for the next hour to Radioactivity.
Hello, this is Barry Young. starting off with Black Sabbath and Over and Over.
And from everybody here at Activity 103.5, for the next couple of months, goodbye, God bless, see you soon.